You only get upset when one side's babies are killed, then your moral compass is broken and your humanity is broken. I don't want my moral compass broken.
It has been 107 days since the hostages were taken to Gaza. And I want to ask you, Rachel, whose son Hirsch is in Gaza right now, why should we continue to talk about the hostages and share their stories?
First of all, I think that everyone can try to plug themselves into our shoes, anyone's shoes. If this was your son, your brother, your daughter, your mother, your spouse, your best friend, your grandfather, this could be anybody. And the hostages who are still there span in age from 1 year to 85 years old. They are Christians, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus. They are from almost 20 different nationalities. This is a crazy swath of humanity that is represented in this cohort of hostage captives. And as human beings, we have a responsibility to get them out and to be their advocates. And if it makes you uncomfortable, great, you should be uncomfortable. People were dragged from their beds. People were dragged from a music festival that was advertised as a music festival for unity, light, and peace. This is a failure of epic proportions of humanity to humanity. And although this group of hostages is being held in a place that's a really complicated place, Gaza is a complicated place, and it's okay to say that you're not okay with whatever is happening with Israel and the Palestinians. It has to be handled. That has to be handled. There are hundreds of thousands of innocent Gazans who are actually suffering terribly right now. I acknowledge that. Yeah. People acknowledge that. It's horrible. But that should not have anything to do with the fact that these innocent hostages need to be released. They're two separate issues. The first issue must be dealt with, and it is not fair and it's not okay what's happening there. But it's also not appropriate to have something like what happened on October 7th happen, and to have these people for 107 days being held captive. This baby who's being held captive, grandfathers who are being held captive, and all of these young people in between. And someone like Hirsch, for example, who we just happen to know had his arm blown off before he was taken hostage. Many of them are wounded and really ailing. As a human being, we have to have our humanity not extinguished. And that's why we have to keep this on the front burner. And people should want these people out. And so we have to keep talking about it. And if it's 1 minute a day that you just call your local elected officials and say, it's day 107, there are still 136 hostages, 6 of whom happen to be American, I'm not okay with it. Goodbye. There, you've done it. You've done it for the day. You could wear something, you could just do your phone call. There are lots of little things that you could do. And that's what we're asking people to do. We're asking people to be human.